morning, good afternoon, guys. We're back for another Geek Tavern. As always, it's me, Shawn, and I'm joined by Mike.
Yo.
And Aaron.
Well, hello.
And, we haven't really watched anything recently. It's been kind of slow. Some people didn't want to go see Tenet with me, so...
I was not aware of when you went to go see it.
I was working on another big project. Okay.
So,
I had to get that done.
I was the only one that saw Tenet out of all of us, and,
Mike and I are going to see it Sunday, so
okay.
Cool your jets. We will see it. We will discuss it.
Yeah.
So, thumbs up anyway, I guess.
In the meantime, you couldn't have saved that.
I give it a...
Spoiler.
Spoilers. It sucked.
Yeah, I haven't really watched anything else aside from our recommended movie. The new season of The Boys came out. Watched that recently.
Yeah, big fan of that.
Yeah.
If you want to say, I rewatched stuff. I didn't watch anything new. But for some reason, we sat down. My brother and sister were here, and we watched the first two Jackass movies.
Oh, yeah. I came in at the tail end of the second one.
But other than that, we rented. We didn't finish it, but we rented Death Race. What was it, 2050 or something?
Oh, is that like the third one? Or
that is like the fourth or fifth one.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's got Manu Bennett.
Oh yeah.
Deathstroke, and it's campy as all hell.
Man, it's like Manu Bennett is in like three movies. Well, you watched it. Like he was in The Condemned.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then he was in that movie, and I feel like
he's been in quite a few actually. I don't know offhand what
he's a big he works a lot with the WWE movies and stuff like that.
Yeah,
he's a big action guy.
I mean, I think obviously his most prominent role is Deathstroke.
Oh yeah,
but I don't know. Well, he did that one. What was that? I think it was an MTV show. Not Spartacus. It was something. Sahara or something. I don't know.
I've never heard of that.
I don't know if that's the name. It was on TV though. It was. I remember the poster was like a desert. I don't know.
Speaking of desert, what a great transition.
There we go.
Oh. The new Dune trailer came out.
Yeah. I was like, wait, where are we going with this? Yeah.
Sand.
Now, Shawn and I have watched the 1984 Dune.
I don't recommend it.
I'm not gonna lie. We watched it at our buddy's house. We were dog sitting, and I had like 3 beers and then about fell asleep through the whole middle of the movie. It's really blurry. I guess the story's really good, but David Lynch couldn't do what he wanted to do. The studio was like, no, we got to do something like this. We got to put Sting in the movie or something. They made too many changes behind the scenes where he was just like, okay, thanks for ruining what I was going to do. So, I guess Denis Villeneuve said that in a recent interview that he loves David Lynch's movie, but he wants to follow through with what he wanted to do.
How could anybody love that movie?
I
mean,
mean,
so bad.
It's goofy and campy, but I mean, there were some memorable parts to that movie that I remember, the big sandworm, when they ride the sandworms into the city after Baron Harkonnen took over everything, and they come in to basically tell him fuck off, get off the throne because Paul's still alive.
Yes, there are memorable parts of the movie. I'll tell you the 2 parts of the movie I remember.
Is it because they're bad?
It's literally the only parts of the movie I remember.
The block fight between Patrick Stewart and Paul.
Oh, Patrick Stewart?
Yeah. Oh, no, that movie had a pretty good cast, too.
And then the scene where the fat guy is floating around.
Oh, yeah.
And he gets sucked out of the airship or whatever it was. Literally the only parts of the movie I remember.
I barely remember that. Barely.
Yeah.
I bought the movie. I bought it for $5.
Oh, yeah. I remember the little girl whispering,
Oh, yeah.
Whatever the fuck it like zoomed in on her lips.
Yeah.
And it was like a scene out of SpongeBob where it was like
actors.
the hyper realistic.
But like, they make fun of that a lot on like MST3K. Anytime there's like a kid in the scene like acting all creepy, they're like, I am the Guadib or like something like that, and they do like the creepy voice. All I remember was that kid like showing up to like Baron Harkonnen's like court, and she's like, "You wait till Paul gets here, and he's gonna kill you." And I'm like, "Why is this eerie child giving orders to this emperor?" But yeah, I mean that movie was goofy, but this looks more epic, more intense.
I pretty much like everything that Denis Villeneuve's come out with, so I'm sure that this will be good.
It's gonna be a two-parter.
He made me interested in this after I was so disinterested because of the old version. So I mean that's something, and it's still it's like a double thing. It's like I am excited, but at the same time I'm like, oh, this is still Dune. So like I'm worried it'll be shit. But
and I remember I picked up Dune because they had announced that Denis Villeneuve was doing a Dune remake, and I was like, oh, well, we should probably watch the first one. Because it was right around when Blade Runner 2049 came out. And then he said he was going to tackle Dune. So we watched that, and then we're thoroughly disappointed.
Yep, that's for sure.
I like a lot of old sci-fi action-adventure movies from the 80s, but that one ain't it.
Huh. Yeah, it's really bad. Is there any other movie news
I mean,
we can talk about? Any of them, like...
with the exception of the sad news.
Sorry, I'm sneezing an awful lot. I guess. Oh yeah, I just read today that they are. It's not movie news. It's like a series, like a TV series news. Oh my god! It's they're doing a RoboCop prequel TV series, but it's not going to have RoboCop in it. So I'm like,
so it's like before he becomes RoboCop.
Yeah, but I'm like, what's the point? Who wants to watch a TV show where Alex Murphy is just running down the street as a cop?
Yeah, that's literally
makes no sense.
A cop show at that point.
Yeah. There's absolutely nothing tying it to RoboCop. I could, because like people today watching streaming services, if I just made a show with a character named Alex Murphy, there would be a select few people who would be like, is that like a nod to RoboCop, or because he's not RoboCop?
Well, honestly, if the show was called Alex Murphy, people wouldn't even know who the hell that was.
No, that's what I mean. Like,
because I mean, I've watched those movies, and I couldn't have. Before you said that, I couldn't have told you what his name was.
No, like, what is the point of making a prequel TV series without the titular character?
I mean, it's not like RoboCop existed before he turns into him. It's not like it was some like concept they were working on.
No.
So like you can't even make it. I don't know.
No.
Yeah.
I saw that The Walking Dead's ending after 11 sequels finally.
Thank God.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, oh, that's still on TV.
Yeah, I've quit watching that since like I don't know how I even made it as far as I did to season 5, but I was like, yep, I'm
what are they on?
The final season will be season 11.
Jeez.
So
I thought that ended like 5 years ago.
I have zero interest.
Yeah, I really don't care anymore.
I've only watched like 2 episodes.
When you run a show that long, you eventually run out of content and people are going to quit watching.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what happened. It was just the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay.
The last thing I remember...
It's like Shameless.
Yeah.
It's the same shit over and over every season, and you're just like, okay, I'm disinterested.
Yeah, I don't care anymore. The same thing's going to happen next season. Why am I even watching?
Oh, those goofy Gallaghers are going to get themselves into more trouble.
Yeah, I was never one for the whole zombie craze.
I feel like it really flourished because it got in... It was like right at the peak of the zombie trend.
Yeah.
Like, it got in before it was overdone. And it, like, the first 2 seasons were well done.
Yeah.
Really good television. And then, yeah, it just got in under the radar, and then zombies blew up and were everywhere, and now...
It got annoying.
Yeah.
Like Baby Yoda, it became so oversaturated in the culture that I did not give a shit anymore about it. Like, if somebody showed me something with a zombie in it, I'd be like, eh. Like anytime I would go to a convention and somebody be walking around as a zombie, like, cool, that's awesome. Like, you did a good job with that, but at the same time, I'm like, eh.
Yeah.
I'm like, please, like, enough.
I'm Harley Quinn zombies.
Oh. Yeah.
That's like
Baby Yoda zombie.
Baby Yoda zombie cosplay.
I would punt that across the room.
Harley Quinn and like Deadpool are like the 2 biggest cosplays you see at cons and stuff like that. So
yeah,
it's
I
only
was
natural to have a zombie version of
some
them.
are creative.
No, yeah,
I will say
I'm
that.
not saying it's bad, but
No, but it's overdone. It's one of those things that
it's oversaturated.
yeah, the normal. Well, I shouldn't say normal people. They just like gravitate towards it and then just like accept it as their like. I read a tweet that was actually pretty funny. That it said, "Me in the theater, at 12 years old, watching a movie, subconsciously downloading that character's personality into my brain, like to become that. Like, and that's what I imagine that these people who love like Harley Quinn and Deadpool do. Like, they see a movie like that, and then they're like everything that they have just goes, and then like Deadpool just fills it up, and then that just becomes them.
It's weird to voice, but like, if something happens in a movie, like, I'll feel like my feelings will change to what's like happening. I don't know how to describe it, but like, it's almost like if they're going through a depressing point,
Like, you empathize.
I feel
with the
that
Yeah.
sadness or whatever.
Yeah, you empathize with
Yeah.
the character, which is what you're supposed to do. If
Right.
a character's well enough written, you're supposed to empathize.
But I mean, it could
with
really like screw up my day. Like, if it doesn't turn back, like, I'll feel like that the rest of the day. It's kind of weird, but
It's good. That means you have a good connection with the character.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I bet your day was ruined whenever Thanos killed half the cast.
Yeah, that
At
was
the
a
end
terrible day.
At the end of Infinity War.
That was my favorite. That was my favorite thing.
I loved it, but at the same time, I'm like, wow, that shit's really depressing.
I actually was talking to Mike about this when we were coming back from Altoona the other day. I was like, I loved that they did that, because I thought when Thor throws the axe into Thanos, I was like, you fucking pussies. I was like, you're going to kill off the biggest bad guy in the first movie of a 2-part movie. I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And then when he did the snap, I was like, yes! I was like, you finally did it! You guys got the balls to not kill off your major villain immediately.
Yeah.
But then they did.
They did, but the damage was already done.
Yeah.
Because like in Endgame, the whole movie rests on them reversing what happened. But that's what I liked, is that the villain won. And even though Thor beheads him, he still won. Like, damage is still done. They're not going to be able to do anything.
Yeah, for 5 years.
Yep.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So, speaking of the Avengers, let's talk about the sad news
Yeah.
that came last week, I believe.
Last Friday, I believe it was. A week ago today, from we're recording right now.
Yep.
But unfortunately, Chadwick Boseman has lost his battle with cancer at the age of 43. And, battling it for 4 years. Secretly, and still filming humongous blockbuster movies.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is, what an insanely talented person.
Yeah. And
I don't know how
strong. Like,
Yeah, very strong.
and that's like
'Cause
physically and mentally.
Yeah.
He continued to work out to portray T'Challa. I mean, that takes a lot.
Yeah, because most people that go through, I assume we did like chemo kind of stuff. Most people go through that, like, they lose their physical.
Yep.
They atrophy basically.
Yeah. So I mean, it's phenomenal.
Which
that,
he did towards the end.
Yeah.
But
he was done shooting.
Yeah.
So I mean, he probably stopped working out, and that's where it probably kind of kicked in. But
apparently, well, supposedly, I read that he was confident that he was going to beat it until a week before his passing.
oh wow,
Which is like, could you imagine being like so confident and like, you're like, yeah, I was kicking this thing's ass secretly for 4 years, you know, and then I'm gonna have a triumphant story to tell after it's all done and be like, oh, by the way, during this whole time.
yeah.
But unfortunately, it caught up with him.
It's a damn shame.
Yeah.
He will be missed. He will not be replaced.
I hope he's not. I don't want to overshadow his death with speculation or, you know,
Yeah.
theorying or anything.
Yeah.
But for the sake of him, not just the character and what it's meant to so many people, but just for the sake of him and his legacy, I really wish that Marvel wouldn't recast him as a character.
I kind of hope
I
that
really
they
don't
write
think
it
that
in.
they will. I don't think that they will replace him. I think that the only real course that you can take with that is to have Shuri take up the mantle of the Black.
Yeah, kind of like write it in that something happened to T'Challa.
Yeah.
Yeah, similar circumstances or something. But
Yeah, it doesn't have to be exactly the same. Because I don't know if that would make people mad or not, but
yeah. Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah.
I guess Marvel didn't even know that he was battling cancer.
Only one person did. Kevin Feige.
Oh, he did?
Feige was the only one who knew.
Okay.
He only told him because that's his big boss.
Yeah,
you know?
technically.
He's the guy who needs to know that sort of stuff.
yeah.
But
I'm surprised, like, the team, like, people on the movie didn't know just for emergency reasons if something were to happen.
well, I think Feige was pretty well connected to everyone on set.
Okay.
So if something were to have happened, he'd be the first guy to be called,
Yeah.
aside from like emergency services or something.
Right.
But he would at least, like, if they called him and told him, he'd be like, okay, here's what you need to do right now. Like,
Yeah.
Terribly sad news.
very, very sad news.
Well, if there isn't anything else to talk about, I guess we
Yeah.
can move on.
Yeah, we have worse news.
Worse news.
The recommendation.
Yeah. This terrible movie brought before us by Aaron.
That's right.
Thanks, Aaron.
You're welcome. You experience quality cinema. What can I say?
Well,
you want me to take away my
yeah, go for it.
Okay. So my recommendation last time was Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Steven Spielberg's 1977 alien adventure epic. That I believe it came out around the same time that Star Wars came out, or shortly after. I think.
Yeah.
I think it was just shortly after, but yeah,
It's amazing when you compare those movies.
Yeah.
Like how things look and stuff. Like,
Oh yeah, both have really good special effects in their own right.
yeah.
Um,
I just mean, I think Star Wars just looks a little bit better, but that might be because they touched it up a bit.
oh, I think it definitely looks a little bit better. So to lay out the groundwork for the story, the whole movie, the whole opening of the movie is talking about these UFOs that are appearing and disappearing, strange occurrences happening, and then we meet our main character, Roy Neary, played by Richard Dreyfuss, and he has an encounter with a UFO, and then he starts to lose his mind a little bit, or it appears that he's losing his mind, which he kind of is because he doesn't understand what's going on with him, and a lot of crazy things happen, and there's a little bit of a parallel story with Melinda Dillon's character and her son Barry, they experience the same UFO occurrences and all that, and then both characters are brought together for the climactic bit of the movie, the adventure leading to the ultimate ending, which we'll get into here during discussion. But that's the basic synopsis of the movie. So I'm eager to hear y'all's opinion. We all watched this at the same time.
Yeah, and we didn't say anything afterwards. Yeah. It was a movie.
It was a movie. Indeed it was.
I didn't hate it. I don't even know where to go with it. I really liked the first encounter that I'm not gonna know people's names. The main
Roy.
Yeah, the main guy, Roy. He when he's in the truck like that. That was honestly an experience, like, because I have that surround sound system hooked up. I thought the damn trailer was going to take off the ground.
Oh yeah,
Jesus Christ!
Yeah, that's right. Because it like vibrated the whole trailer.
Yeah,
like, when the light shined in, like on top of his truck. And
oh my god! Even Star Wars ships don't do that to that. So like, that was crazy. That's honestly what I'm going to probably remember this movie for, is that part.
That scene. But
yeah, there was a lot of horror aspects to some of the encounters.
Like Barry's abduction.
Yeah, like when they're running around the house and everything.
The clouds approach.
Yeah,
and it's like stormy, like Ghostbusters type, poltergeist type of clouds, and then there's all the orange lights outside the house, and then the kid
she's like, shutting the window shutters,
like
or
the
whatever.
Vacuum cleaner turns on. And going around the house and everything. Oh yeah, there was a lot of scary aspects to that movie.
Not to the point where it's like actually scary, but it's like scary for the characters.
Oh yeah.
But so I like that part too.
It reminded me of like Spielberg never really did any horror.
Yeah.
But that scene and the scene in E.T. when the guys in the spacesuits come into the house.
Oh, that used to freak me the hell out.
Freaked me out when I was a kid. Yep. But like it's that same feel to it.
Yeah.
Like
if I saw this as a kid, I'd probably been scared shitless myself.
Yeah. But like when they have that happen in the house and all the lights are outside, like that's creepy and eerie, like because you don't know what's out there or what's trying to take the kid. Like in E.T., they're in there and you're just even more creeped out because I think it's because of the helmets. They don't have faces or anything. They're just like this entity.
It's a some being.
Yeah.
I really liked that we didn't see the beings until the
very, very end.
Yeah. I like that.
And even then, we don't know if that was them on the ship.
You want to talk about horror? Look at that final.
That first one that shows up, the spidery,
the creepy, spindly.
It looks like a skeleton alien.
Yeah,
that thing.
Yeah, that thing always was a little creepy. There's one like, just like not skipping ahead, but when that guy, when they're standing there and that he crawls down off like the landing ramp. That dude walks up to it, but then he like looks down like it's small, but it's clearly like 8 feet tall or something. But he's like looking down, like, and I'm like, was that bad direction? Or Spielberg's like, hey, look down. And he's like looking, and I'm like imagining it's like this tall, like as tall as the coffee table.
Yeah,
because I guess
it was probably like a redesign after they shot that.
Probably. Yeah. Because like if you look at it. Those people walk down that ramp, and it has like clearing, but that thing had to like crawl down like underneath and out in order to like stand up.
Yeah, the way
and
it
just
crawled
disappears.
Out. Yeah,
like it doesn't. I don't know. Does it crawl back up the ship?
Doesn't it like T-pose on him?
Yeah, it like goes like this and like raises its arms up, but then it disappears. It's just gone.
Yeah, you never see
it
again.
It just cuts, and then there's another scene. Like I don't care. Like it doesn't affect the story. I was just curious as to like, did it crawl back up? Did it vanish? Like what happened?
So that wasn't like a cut for like a different version. Like,
no, that's in every version.
Okay.
Is him coming up.
Well, I just didn't know
just
if, like,
disappearing.
Yeah, I didn't know if he, in like an extended cut, if he went back in or not.
I think they would have just been like, no, it's gonna be too damn difficult. Like it looked like he was like on wires to begin with.
Yeah, I don't know what that was.
Yeah, and I think they were just like, it's gonna be too damn difficult to like try to like make him walk back up the ramp to not look goofy.
Yeah.
Because like the first time coming down, it's like he's like sliding down it. But anyway, let's back up. So the climax. Or at least we got to talk about the aliens a little bit.
Here, I'll say this much. The effects are incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Like genuinely jaw-dropping. Like the final sequence with the different size ships and the mothership, like incredible looking.
Oh yeah.
The story is garbage.
The story could use some.
There wasn't much there.
No, it's like this is good, but in service to, like, there's not really a story at all.
No,
honestly.
No, and rewatching it, I was kind of like, okay, like
if anything,
this doesn't have like a great storyline.
Yeah.
It looks good. You enjoy like going through with what the characters are doing, but there is not like a solid story. There's not really, to a lot of the conflicts, there isn't a lot of resolution.
And that's what there should have been way more story about, again, character names. The woman that her son gets abducted.
No, not Ronnie.
I don't know
I
her.
can't remember her name.
Anyway.
Was it ever spoken?
I don't know.
I have no idea. If it's not, that's even worse. But,
I
like,
don't know what her name is.
You don't really see this woman freak out that her son's taken. Like, she's like, I forget what she even does. That's how unfocused it was on it.
I think she runs off and then she goes and... Oh, she was at like a hotel or something. Yeah,
Jillian Guyler is her
character name or the actress?
No, that's her character.
Okay.
Jillian.
Yeah, that because they see.
I don't remember them ever saying that.
The Devil's Tower, because they both see it on the news at the same time.
Okay.
And she's like in some hotel, so like, what was she even doing there? You know?
Yeah. Why? Well, didn't they kick her off her farm or whatever? Because it was
no. They she was in the hotel because she was they said that she was going to try. Remember, before she goes in the elevator, they're like, "Is it true you're going to go try to search for your son across the state?" or something like that. So I'm guessing that she was like traveling to like see if anybody knew where he was or something like that.
I'm just gonna waywardly go across the United States to try and find my son.
No, like just in the state.
Oh,
like she was. I think she was going to look for like see if she could find the UFOs or something, and, like see if she'd be able to.
Anyway, that needed way more reaction from her. Like, she should have been freaking the hell out. Like,
she should have been, but then again, I also think that her character was kind of in shock.
That's I guess.
Like, I think if she had been hysterical the entire thing, I would have got really fucking annoyed. Like, if she had just been hysterical mom the entire time, I would have been like.
I think she should have been hysterical, and then when she met up with Roy, I think they should have, like, I don't know. He should have been like, "Get your shit together. We will figure this out," kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, I think that would have been good.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know the aliens' motivation.
Right.
Like, why are they... I mean, it doesn't really matter why they're here, but why are they kidnapping people? And kidnapping people throughout time.
Right.
Well, you know...
Like, I feel like that whole setup is just kind of like a... Like, at the end, it's like, I gotcha. Here they are.
Hi, here.
You know?
There is resolution to Jillian's character, at least.
Yeah.
Because they kidnapped Barry because they wanted her to come meet them, essentially.
Why?
Remember, they implanted the vision in all these different people to come to make contact with them, but like half of them didn't make it.
But why?
It was just those two. I don't know.
That's the problem.
Well, no. Like, the way that I took it, because the opening of the movie is in Mexico during like a sandstorm, and the whole like team heading this project shows up, and they find, what was it, Flight 19, I think, from 1945, which was an actual flight of 5 planes that disappeared off Fort Lauderdale. And they said it went through the Bermuda Triangle, and that's why they were never seen again. But they were never seen again. But it was like one of those things where like the aliens just kept putting these things back to like let them know, like, hey, we're coming, so get ready. Like, we're ready to make contact with you. That's
I kind of agree.
The way I took it.
I mean, I like the fact that we didn't see them till the end, but I would have liked somehow for them to be like, this is why we're doing it, like studying humans.
I think
something.
And I mean, that probably was a good chunk of it, but I think mostly like their motivation for throughout the whole movie was to make contact with us.
Yeah,
because the whole like in this movie, from the time before Spielberg made this movie, like UFOs were just kind of like a mythical thing and all that. But like I think that the way that he tried to plan the story out was like it was them finally making contact with us, not like somebody snaps a picture of a UFO or sees it. It's them actually coming to Earth and talk, or at least communicating with us, which is where the tones come in, because they give humans the tones that they can communicate to them.
But the tone, that's another confusing thing. So the tone is basically just coordinates to where they're going to land.
No.
Yeah, wasn't because they were getting a radio frequency, wasn't that?
Yeah, but that wasn't the tones. That dude was just playing the tones in the background.
Okay.
No, they were just getting the radio.
Well,
signal
that's right. Because obviously,
because it had six coordinates, and there's only 5 tones.
Well, obviously, I mean, it's just the ship making noise.
Yeah.
Because that village of Indians were like, Indian people were like all chanting the tone. So, I don't know.
But then they expand on that when the guy says, he's like, well, what are we saying to each other? And while they're just playing the tones to them, and they're playing it back, and they're like, I think they're trying to teach us like a basic tonal vocabulary because they don't speak our language and we can't speak theirs. So they were just giving us like a basic tonal pattern that they can communicate with.
I think they should have spoke our language, because if they're studying these humans for however, 20, 30 years, whatever the hell it was, you would think that would be one aspect that they kind of would study.
Well, and I mean, they could have, but I think it would have detracted from the movie if the aliens had just come down and started speaking English. I think it's better that they don't talk at all.
I mean,
like that was one thing that I liked.
Not a negative.
The aliens, they don't even say anything. They just come down, and the one alien does like the sign language, like the tones to
the Zoltan.
Mr. Lacombe. He does like the Zoltan hand signals, and I was like, okay, like that's all I need. Those aliens don't need to say a goddamn word.
Yeah, I mean, that wasn't a negative. I'm just saying. You would think that would be one thing that they kind of studied,
and they probably did. But that's one thing that I like. That's always been an aspect that I like, is the fact that like the tones are how they communicate. Because I don't know, like,
I mean, because music's a universal language.
Yeah, and that's kind of like the way I always took it, and that's why I liked that.
Yeah, no, I like that.
The tones and all that,
yeah.
And I mean. That's a good scene when they're playing the tones, and then they play like a whole like symphony almost, like with the tones and everything.
Yeah, it got pretty crazy there.
Yeah.
It like sped up, and it was really really fast and crazy.
Yeah, and then they like automate it so that it just
like
whatever.
They're just like, okay, here goes. Oh yeah, that's like they're like, okay, let's have it auto communicate with them, and it's like
and it's just going crazy.
Yeah.
But, where else did we want to go? I mean, we keep jumping straight to like the end.
That's the only part that really catches my eye.
I mean, that in the first couple encounters, like.
I will say one thing though. I thought it was pretty clever that Roy, as a sculptor, Like he's a model maker.
Right.
He like makes the. So whenever they like however many people get these visions implanted in them to go to Devil's Tower, they're drawing it, and they even have a conversation about this whenever they escape and are going. They're like, oh well, Roy's like, at this back end, you know, there's a field and that's where they're gonna touch down. And they're like, what? I never got that in my drawings or anything. And he's like, well, try sculpting.
Yeah.
Because he goes insane and is building that entire mausoleum.
Oh my god, he throwing the dirt in.
That's one joke that I really like after he goes like and takes all like the neighbors' shit and their trash and everything and dumps it in their living room and builds the Devil's Tower, and he still doesn't know what it means until he sees it on the TV. I love when he gets pulled in and he's talking to Mr. Lacombe and the cartographer, and he's sitting there and he like hands him the painting that somebody did, and he goes, yeah, it's beautiful, I have one just like it in my living room. Like throws it back. I was like, that's funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, like he builds his first one is the shaving cream.
Yeah.
Because he goes to shave after he discovers the sunburn from the UV light that was on the bottom of the ship, and then he like takes the shaving cream and then he like starts to like sculpt the shaving cream. And
I had no idea what the hell he was doing at that moment.
Yeah, because it seems just really weird.
Yeah,
and it doesn't seem like anything. And he goes, and he's like, "Hey, Ronnie, what does this look like to you?" Like, and you just think he's like messing with her or whatever. Yeah. And then it's like not heard of again until they're eating dinner.
Yeah.
And he starts like making it with the mashed potatoes. And then...
And I gotta be honest, I still had no idea what the hell he was doing.
Well, and then they start to like freak out. And they're all like getting pissed at him because he's going insane. And all that. And
that was that one kid actor. He was really good during that.
Oh
scene.
Yeah,
like he was actually like crying that his dad's going bonkers.
Yeah,
like that was
the extended version of that scene, which I told you guys we watched the regular version and it didn't have that scene. After dinner, Roy like goes into locks himself in the bathroom, and he just like sits in the shower, and he's just like getting completely soaked like in his clothes and everything, and he just turns the shower on. He's just sitting there, and Ronnie busts the door open and she comes in and she's like, we need to call like a doctor or something. She's like, I'm gonna get you help or whatever. So he like is freaking out, and then the kid comes in and he starts like, because he doesn't know what else to do, he starts like crying and he's like calling his dad a crybaby and like slamming the door and everything, like
Jesus,
freaking out at him. I mean, but like you think about it and you're like, well, what else is he gonna do? Like his dad's insane, you know? But I mean, that was a good scene. It doesn't detract or help the story at all, but it's a nice little scene, like that it shows his like insanity just progressing.
I mean,
more.
So with the family, I know it shows them like packing up in the car and leaving, but it doesn't flat out say, or at least I didn't catch on right away, that she completely just left.
Oh yeah,
like.
I thought that would have been resolved too. Like, well, we'll get to why it isn't resolved later. But like, he basically also abandons
That's
them.
what I'm saying. When we get to that point that you're talking about, like, I didn't know that she like full on left. I thought she was just scared and was going for a couple days.
I agree with you. Like, he does just abandon them too. But at the same time, when you think about his story, like, when he's introduced, he has, like, everything that he could want. He has his family, his, like, models and shit like that, his job. And then slowly, one by one, everything is, like, falling apart for him. Until he has literally nothing. And then he goes to Devil's Tower, and then he's given the opportunity to go with the aliens back to wherever they come from.
We'll just cut right to that. That seemed to me like a human sacrifice scene. Yeah, like
as they're all like touching him and everything.
Yeah, it felt like he's gonna get on that ship and they're gonna fucking kill him.
Well,
like it felt like that's how it was going down.
you remember the joke that I made? It was like, "All right, Mr. Near, you ready to be dissected?"
Yeah,
right.
there was like
Some
that whole
fire in the sky
and
shit.
and it's hilarious because like the government has like 10 other astronauts.
Yeah,
that are
like
like
literally astronauts who have been like screened to do this.
Yeah. And then the little alien just walks up and grabs Roy, and he's like, "Okay, you're the only one. Come with us."
Which I think that was just because they knew that he was one of the ones who had the vision.
Yeah.
And they didn't want to take any of the fucking astronauts. They were just like, "Yeah, we're gonna take him because he's the only one who actually came." But like that's a nice thing for Roy's character because he had everything, loses everything, and then he like gets swept up into this even bigger, something way bigger than him. And all
he goes because he has nothing left.
Yeah, but at the same time, he wanted to.
Yeah,
like, and it wasn't his choice; it was like their choice because they told him, "Hey, come with us. We'll take you to wherever the fuck we're going."
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, after, like, I hadn't watched this movie. I watched it one time before we watched it for the recommendation, but I hadn't watched this movie since J.J. Abrams' Super 8 came out, because I watched it because I heard that it was, like, one of the big things. And I'd always wanted to watch it just because it was a Spielberg movie, and it's highly regarded as one of his better movies. And rewatching it, I was like, okay, the story could use a little bit of work. It's like everything else about it, like the way it was shot and everything, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Especially for the time, everything is really good. But yeah, story could use a little bit of work.
It's clearly extremely influential. Not like, despite it, my opinion, the story not be working well at all. Like it's referenced in literally everything.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like so important to pop culture.
Yeah.
Like it's like on the level of like Godfather, like things that happen.
Yeah, because
like the scene where they're doing the tones. Like I've never seen this movie before, but I know that it was from this because I've seen it a million times before I saw this movie.
Yeah. And like I was telling you, there's like parodies like in the show IT Crowd, and it's been done in other things too, where you see people like making the mashed potato mountain like in other things. I've seen it in other things too, aside from that, but like I didn't know that it was parodying that movie till I watched it, and I was like, oh, I've seen them like do the mashed potato mountain thing before.
Like what is it? Monsters and Aliens. There's a scene where the president goes up and just starts like jamming on a keyboard.
Yeah.
As like a parody of them tonally communicating with us.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I'm glad that it is so impactful, but I just didn't really feel that when watching it.
Yeah.
Like visually it's stunning even now.
It definitely, like, visually, it just keeps you entertained.
Yeah.
Like, the story doesn't even have to keep you entertained. It's the visuals.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's what Spielberg's known for, is being a great director like that, where he can frame up a scene the way he wants to see it. And it's great. Like, there are just a lot of iconic things in this movie that came out of it. But, I mean, like I said, I agree with you, because after rewatching it, I was like, oh, the story's not as good as I remember it. Yeah. I don't think that it doesn't work at all. I think it works. It could work better.
Yeah, it's not that it's empty. It's just
No, I've watched movies where the story is just there's nothing there, and I'm like, how did this get made?
Right. So I think the reason this movie is regarded as dare I say iconic or whatever word you want to put in there, is probably because at that time, just like Star Wars, there was nothing like it.
No.
That's what I was thinking too. Like, like it's currently, even now, it's amazing to look at. But like especially back then when it first came out, it's like it's literally groundbreaking.
It was like I think the big three that came out in that time span were Star Wars, Close Encounters, and Blade Runner. Were the big three that like just revolutionized the shit out of special effects in movies.
Yeah.
Like it was kind of funny when we were watching it. Like one of the first times that we see them, where they're just kind of like flying around the highway doing whatever. I was like, yeah, it looks good, but like it's nothing spectacular. And you're like, oh yeah, this is an amazing visually movie. And I was like, okay, whatever. But then whenever the mothership shows up and it's doing like the boom, boom, boom with all the tones, I was like, that looks fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Now, and like if you think about how they used to do those models, they would have each, like, to watch them do it, they have each of those models that they build on like a stick on a blue screen. And the camera is what moves. The model doesn't move. So like they do all this crazy fucking camera work and motion track it so it looks like that is moving. It's how they did all the Star Wars ships.
Right.
And then they would like rotoscope in all these blinding lights and everything on it to make it look alien, make it look interesting. And also covered up any imperfections on the models or anything like that to have those blinding lights. But like thinking about the amount of work that went into the bottom of the mothership.
Yeah.
Like with all, like, I'm sure all the lighting was rotoscoped, but just all the detail that went into that. I mean, can you imagine how many like exposure, like films that they had for that whole scene?
Crazy.
But yeah, I mean let's talk a little bit about the score.
Yeah,
I think it's one of John Williams' best.
Yeah, once his name popped up on the screen,
you weren't shocked.
I was like, of course.
Yeah, especially during their communication scene.
Yeah.
It's just like, I'm assuming he was responsible for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was just like, that's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
John Williams, there's a reason that he is like the #1 movie composer of all time.
I mean, and this and Star Wars was in the same year, so that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, because he did Jaws in '75, and then he did Star Wars in '77, and this movie in '77. So I mean, he like did some of his best work in 1977.
Was Josh's first composition in like the movie realm, or?
No, I actually think it was TV.
Okay.
I think.
Well, I meant
John Williams is, believe it or not, he wrote the Lost in Space theme song and scored the show.
Okay.
So that was before Star Wars and all that. So,
right.
I mean, he got to experiment with like outer space sounding music, and when you listen to it, like you can definitely hear a lot of things like that he took to Star Wars and used like things in there. But yeah, I mean, honestly, this is one of my favorite scores by John Williams. I mean, obviously Jurassic Park is definitely up there along with Star Wars, but Close Encounters is also another really good. I mean, I don't have a least favorite John Williams score. If you play a John Williams score, I'm like, it's beautiful.
Harry Potter?
Yeah. No,
I was just kidding. Yeah, it's great too.
I'm not like as big a fan.
Does he have any compositions or whatever that most people even think is bad? Like, is there one that people think is bad?
I really don't think so.
Okay.
The Rise of Skywalker.
Well,
because it's not original.
The whole thing was phoned in. All right.
He got to be in it. I thought that scene was cool.
I mean, Jaws, Indiana Jones, Star Wars,
Yeah.
E.T. Basically every movie that you would have ever grown up watching, he scored.
Yeah.
John Williams scored like all of our childhood.
No. That's why I was just curious, like, if there's one out there that just people don't like by him.
I honestly can't think of one that people
I'll have to
don't
kind of
like.
research that. I'm curious.
You brought up Jaws, and we mentioned it during our viewing of it, but there was a scene where it felt very much like an homage to Jaws, because the mothership was like brr, 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 brr,
yeah,
and it sounded like the Jaws theme.
Yeah,
I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I did like that a lot.
Yeah,
there was
R2D2 makes a
Yeah, a
appearance.
Kenner R2-D2 is on the underside of the mothership when it comes up over the mountain when Jillian's looking at it rising up over Devil's Tower. And then...
I wonder how many years it took for somebody to notice that.
actually, I think they said it on... was it on the Indiana Jones? It was either on the Indiana Jones behind the scenes or it was in this behind the scenes. Because that was where they talked about that they had that R2 on the bottom. And then they talked about the fact that they had R2 and 3PO on one of the columns in Raiders of the Lost Ark where they raised the Ark out of the stone sarcophagus.
All the movies are connected.
Remember I said that.
Yeah.
And I think they might
it very well could be.
I think that they might be because like they're all spaced out enough.
Yeah.
Where it could 100%.
Just different.
So where does Ready Player One fall into this?
In the future.
Yeah. It's before THX 1138.
Okay.
I mean, it kind of fits.
But the only thing is that was mostly a joke. But also, Ready Player One has references to all of their, monumental films already.
But so does E.T. and Star Wars.
Yeah.
But it was later confirmed that E.T. is from that galaxy because he recognizes Yoda because he's seen Yoda, but we have a costume of Yoda on Earth in the movies because Elliot's showing him like the Millennium Falcon, or no, that's Stranger Things.
Yeah.
But he's showing him the all the toys with Greedo and Lando, but that exists. That's like historic. It's not even fiction, but we think it is in that universe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think
I always thought that was like one of the coolest things about E.T.
I hope that before Lucas or Spielberg dies, they're just like, yeah, it's all connected.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, what? Like,
I don't think it would be that big of a surprise.
No.
No.
It wouldn't, but people would be
But
like,
people would
hyped.
freak out.
Yeah, they'd be hyped. They'd be like, we knew it. It's all connected. And they're
Now
like,
it's really true.
They're like, yeah, Indiana Jones is connected and all that. Like,
the Crystal Skull is just an ET head.
Yeah, it could be. It definitely could be. Maybe one of those aliens was on the Close Encounters ship or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it could be. It could definitely be.
Do we have much else to say about Close Encounters?
Mike, you got anything else?
Not really anything specific about the movie.
Yeah, I think we pretty much covered the bases.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was good, but it's a visually stunning movie. It's shallow though. Like it's held up, in my opinion, completely by what is shown on the screen.
Yeah.
So it's not. Yeah, I don't love it like everybody else does.
Yeah.
But I still like. I mean, just like the sculpture too that they make, like that's an incredible piece of work that they had to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the ships and all that stuff. So I recognize that for those merits. So I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. Because if it weren't for that, I wouldn't have been invested at all. Yeah. Like I just don't care really about Roy or about Janelle or whatever her name, Jillian. I don't care about that. I don't really care about that either. But the aliens look great too.
Yeah.
Especially the spindly one.
Except for the fucking kids in costumes where they had the dumb big fucking eyes.
Yeah.
Where they all had to be backlit because the faces looked so dumb.
But it still should have been darker because you could still see.
Yeah, you could still. Well, when they zoomed.
Yeah.
She was zooming with her camera.
Right.
But. Mike?
Yeah,
It's like, yeah, I guess.
No, leading up, I guess what's in my head is 6.5. Because why not a 0.5? Pretty much everything Shawn said, like, the visuals were great, I enjoyed watching this movie. It's not one that I'll go back and probably watch again.
Sorry to hear that.
I mean, I'm not going to argue if somebody's like, hey, I really want to watch that. And I'm like, all right, I guess. but I enjoyed it for what it was. You know, I really like Aliens, so you know, not Aliens. Well, I like Aliens the movie, but that's not
Who doesn't like Aliens?
right.
It's a great movie. Probably aside from T2, James Cameron's one of his better ones. All right, so I'll give my review or rating on it. I'm gonna go ahead and give it 8, a solid 8. Just because, like I said, I loved this movie when I watched it the first time, and that love is still there for it. And like I said, I agree with you guys that the story, after rewatching it, because like I watched it back in like 2010 or 2011,
Yeah.
and my teenage brain was like, "Yeah, it's awesome looking," and like I didn't try to like focus on the story or anything. I was like, "Yeah, this is just." I just sat there and like enjoyed it. Going back and watching it from a critical aspect, I'm like, okay, the story definitely could use some work. It's not as solid as it could be, but visually beautiful. But like I said, I still have some love for this movie, for Spielberg, and I'm gonna stick with an 8.
Yeah, I really think I guess one thing I wanted to say and I forgot to was I really think if I would have saw this even 10 years ago, like you said, you saw it around that time, like if I would have saw this years ago, it probably would have been higher up, like, because for one, I didn't observe movies the same way back then, you know what I mean, or as a kid or whatever. But it's just, I think it's the fact that Shawn and I saw it in 2020.
Yeah. I mean, certainly if I would have seen it when I was younger, I'm sure I would have appreciated it more.
Right.
But I mean, I've seen so much more visually impressive and compelling
movies are
more
much more crazy now.
Yeah.
You know, like writing is so, I mean, there is movies back then that are really deep and crazy, but I don't know.
See, and
just if I would have saw it younger, I would have probably.
I watched this movie, but last Friday I watched Godzilla vs. Megaguirus. I went back and watched that, which is not regarded as a good Godzilla movie. Right. I rewatched it because I loved that one when I was younger. I still love it. Every minute of it. I was like, wow, this is still great.
Yeah.
And it was just weird because I was surprised. I was like, huh. I was like, I still like this movie an awful lot. Then I tweeted about it, and I was like, are we ready to accept that this is a decent movie? And they're like, no. I'm like, all right, well, I'll continue to enjoy it. but it is weird. Like, I'll go back and revisit a movie and be pleasantly surprised when it holds up to me. And then there's other times like this, like, I would have told you Close Encounters was way better than, like, Godzilla vs. Megaguirus.
Yeah.
But then I rewatch it, and I'm like, kind of seems like Megaguirus is still 10 for 10. You know? But no, like I said, I still like this movie an awful lot.
Yeah.
It's definitely, if somebody asks me to recommend my top 3 Spielberg movies, I'm gonna be like, okay, Jaws, E.T., this, and Raiders. Like
that's 4.
That's right. I was testing both of them.
We can count.
No. You gotta watch Close Encounters and Raiders like they're one movie.
At the same time.
Yes. You gotta
Screen
put them
by
on 2
screen.
different TVs.
Alright, well, there we have it.
Wait, I meant Jurassic Park. I didn't mean to.
Jurassic Park would definitely be my number 1.
Yeah, it's see, I like Jaws too much. Otherwise, I would.
I mean, us having the opportunity to see it in theaters really.
Yeah,
I watched it so much when I was a child, but it really.
I have a new appreciation.
It's only improved my perspective on it.
Yeah.
So.
No, oh my God! Like when we watched that, I was like, I love that movie. I love the whole series because I grew up loving dinosaurs and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But after seeing it in the theater, I was like, my God, like I hadn't watched the movie. Like I watched it on TV, but after rewatching it in the theater, like absorbing every detail about it, I'm like, this is an amazing movie.
Yeah.
I wish you guys would have saw Back to the Future in theater.
I just watched that the other day. But
Yeah.
Not in the
Like-
theater, but I watched it on Netflix.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they must have put them back on because I thought they left like last month.
You know, I think they get buried. Like once they're not trending, they're still there, but they're just not like
Well, they
up front in the list.
I believe it was on the Leaving Soon list
Oh,
because I was like, oh, no, I'm not gonna have those movies to throw on when I don't know what else to throw on. But
Well, we have another recommendation coming our way from me this time, and I'm pretty excited about this one. I was stuck between two movies, but two genres that we haven't really touched much.
oh, good.
But one, I was like, okay, we have watched a movie in this genre already, so I'll choose this one because we haven't. And I was hoping to get a little bit closer to its original release date, but I kind of split the difference. I split the difference between when the film takes place, chronologically. I don't know how you say that. Chronologically. And its release date. So I'm like right in the middle there. So this is a anime movie,
Oh, okay.
and I think you'll really enjoy it. I know you already really enjoy
Oh, I am excited. I was just thinking about this.
it. It is a 1988 film by the name of Akira.
Yes.
So it's another groundbreaking animated movie.
I've never heard of this in my life.
Oh, you were in for a treat.
Yeah, it's I wasn't impressed with it the first time watching it, but like rethinking it and going back, I want to watch it again because I know it's going to be good.
I love this movie. It is so good.
It's just as influential as on animation and like anime and Western animation
Mhm.
as a whole. It's just as influential to that as Close Encounters was to
Like the
sci-fi
whole-
filmmaking.
All right.
So yeah, it's a pretty big deal. But
You know, I'm not gonna lie. Earlier when I was at your house, I was like, I wonder if he's gonna pick an anime one. I was like, I wonder if he picks Akira. I was like, that would be cool. So then when we did, I'm like, yes!
and to top it all off, I mean, it kind of not so much now, but the Olympics are supposed to happen in Japan,
Tokyo.
yeah, in Tokyo,
Yeah.
in 2020.
yeah, well, 2019.
No, I
It's-
thought, or yeah.
the film takes place in
yeah, you're
2019.
right.
They're prepping for, which
The
is kind of
2020,
yeah, which is kind of funny and also sad because coronavirus fucked everything over. But
You're right.
yeah. So the Olympics were going to happen in the movie, and they were going to happen in real life, but lo and behold, disaster happens and prevents that. Right there.
God damn it.
Anyway,
Yeah, this year.
Yeah.
And I have this movie, so
yeah. So
we have a copy.
I didn't even bother looking up if it was streaming anywhere because I knew that Aaron had it.
Yeah.
We watched it the first time with English dubs, so this time I'm not making you guys do it, but I want to watch it in Japanese subbed. So
I think I watched it once in subbed.
I haven't watched it yet,
I
but
think I
that's
did
how
watch
I
it
want to
subbed.
watch it this time. I'm not gonna make you guys do that. They're the same thing.
Yeah, no, I
so,
know.
So you watch how you want to watch it, but that's how I'm gonna watch it. So
Fair enough.
Yeah, don't matter to me.
yeah, so thanks for watching and listening, guys. If you don't want to be spoiled for Akira on our next podcast, make sure to watch it before tuning in. I hope you enjoyed listening to us talk about Close Encounters of the Third Kind. I
Can't
know
remember what we were talking about.
yeah, it's so unimportant to me that I forgot. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. I know we sure did. And we'll see you all next time.
Bye.